collaborating with Benedict Cumberbatch to make the character of Greville? What was that collaboration like?
Well, we've worked together before a couple of times. We did, actually I worked with him 3 times because I produced a play he was in. I directed a play he was in years ago, and we did, he did Richard III for me on TV. So he's sort of a friend, so I've known him very, very well for a long time. And so again, you start from a different place if you know someone. And he's very meticulous, he's very thorough. That one of his sort of keys is the physical life of the character. He's very physical, Benedict, and he sort of watched a lot of videos of Greville Wynn and sort of made some really clear physical choices. And then we sort of built it up together. The rehearsal was crucial because we had him and Mirab Ninidze, who plays Penkovsky, together for quite a few days, and we sort of really worked on the relationship between them and what it was what they shared, what it was that they had in common and why they connected in the way they did. And then you sort of try things out on set. And I mean, he is one of the most inventive actors I've ever worked with. I mean, he comes up with extraordinary things in the moment, unexpectedly, that are brilliant. And you have to just sort of go with what he offers. And then what I tend to do with him is I will shoot the first 3 takes with no notes at all. Just let him find the work he wants to do, because he's very self-correcting. And then if we still have things that he hasn't found after that, then I start giving him notes. But I found if I give him too many notes too early, it sort of throws him. And that's a really interesting thing about filmmaking, is when does the actor need your input? And is it best for them to have sort of some stimulus before they shoot, or do some of them need a bit of space? You sort of got to try and learn that and understand it, because every act has a different process, and a way of finding their best work.
And that's interesting that you say that, because I wonder, as a director, how much emphasis you do put on getting to know each actor. And here we go again.
Sorry.
It's fine.
No, you're all right.
How much
There's
emphasis?
2 shows about to open here, so anyway,
But yeah, I wonder how much emphasis you put into understanding each individual actor as a person, and knowing, okay, they can take feedback early on. They need a bit of time because it'll throw them off. Like, how hard is that to try and get to know each?
Well, you can just you can sort of ask them as well. I mean, I think with Benedict, I learned that over a long period. I don't think he even knew that himself. But I sort of learned it because I noticed that he was doing better work when I was standing back and letting him do it himself, up to a point. And if he missed something, it's just how his brain works. When I did the Shakespeare, I had so many actors and they all worked in different ways. So, for example, when I was working with Judi Dench, I realised that say you were doing close-ups, or you're turning the camera around or whatever, she would always want to go last. She wants the practice off screen before she wants to, and then there were other actors like Sophie Okonedo who was better first, and you always give her something different to play on every take. And so, I sometimes just ask. I said, if we shoot both ways on this, would you rather go first or second or whatever, and there's some actors really do have a strong preference and some don't care. And if they do have a strong preference, you're better off, if possible, because there are sometimes other technical reasons why you can't do that. But if you can, I think it's a really good idea to heed that, because they sort of know their own process, and they know when they're going to feel confident. The most annoying thing, of course, is when you turn the camera around and the other person gets the best performance when they're off camera. It does happen.
Yeah.
And you don't have time to turn it back.
And is it right? Am I right in thinking that that you took a 3-month hiatus between the end of the kind of the normal scenes to the prison scene? Like, you took a 3-month.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we took a 3-month gap so that the 2 guys could lose weight, and they worked very, very hard.
And how was
go on.
How was that from like a production standpoint? Like, talk to the producers about taking that kind of hiatus so they could do that, the actors could achieve those results.
Well, they were very, the actors were really dedicated and the producers were very supportive of that. But I think in the end, one of the challenges was that we didn't have very much money to do the last bit. And we had to really be resourceful about, and it still, I tell you, it really, really bugs me that when he goes home, there's only about 20 reporters outside the house. Because when he really went home, there was like 100. And that really hurts me. And I tried to frame it so that it didn't show, but of course it shows. And so, the tricky thing about something like that is that, resources are always stretched. And if you're trying to do something after the end of the shoot, it's it's hard. But we made that commitment early. It was Benedict who you know, I sort of flagged it up when I very first met him to discuss the film, because when I'd seen pictures of Greville Wynn, it was so shocking what happened to him, because he was quite a sort of chubby guy. And when he came out, he was absolutely skeletal. And it that sort of, for me, that was important in the meaning of the story, because it's sort of about how much sacrifice that he made, you know, is sort of there very visually and clearly. And I knew Benedict, if he was able to, would do it, because he's the kind of person who would. He likes extremes, and he's very committed. So once we sort of looked at what else was going on for him, like that he wasn't going to start shooting on Doctor Strange the week after we finished, we sort of realized it was possible, and he committed. So yeah, we made it work. But it was just the resources were the challenge. The rest of it, it's quite nice to sort of shoot some scenes once because we've done a rough cut of the rest of the film, so you really know what you need. Because you sort of know emotionally what is needed in those scenes, because you've seen the rest of the film. So it's a sort of treat in a way. It's a gift.
And
go, Jesse.
I was going to say, I wonder with Benedict Cumberbatch losing so much weight, did that affect his energy levels on set and trying to perform?
Not that I would have noticed. No, not at all. No, but I mean, I think what happened was that he did most of the work, and then for the last 2 weeks, he was pretty much on fluids. I mean, the last 2 weeks was sort of starvation, and that's when you really, I mean, he was very, very skinny before that, but that's when you really saw the difference. And as soon as we finished, I seem to remember that I think we might have had some sort of donuts. You know what I mean? It was like, give me that sort of thing. And he sort of started eating properly again. But I didn't notice. I mean, I didn't notice any difference in his energy levels from when we shot before.